A very good evening, and thanks for clicking on to the late edition of Vogan's European Outlook for Monday, the 27th of February. And although it was another very dry conditions across much of the British Isles through the course of today, and high pressure remains very, very strong indeed overhead, especially across Scotland, underneath the centre of that area of anticyclonic conditions. Cloud cover was a little bit more prevalent today, and that actually stopped the kind of big swing, the diurnal swing in temperature between day and night time. Certainly during the course of yesterday, the temperature notched up close to 10 Celsius here at the house, and during the overnight period, we dropped down to -4. But we do have a lot more cloud in the sky today, and that actually created a bit of a lid on the temperature rise through the course of today. It really hasn't really much gotten above 3 or 4 Celsius in many parts of the north through the course of this afternoon. And I think we're not going to see as much in the way of a drop tonight. I think, especially in areas where there's cloud cover at least. But where the skies break through the course of this evening, if not, it's already clear, we are going to see, of course, a fairly sharp drop in temperature. This was the temperatures during last night here. So, like I say, -4 here at my house, -3 at nearby Tain, -3.6 actually. We got down to -8.3 at Tulloch Bridge or Furset. Not a kick in the backside of Fort William. So a very chilly night indeed across the western Highland Glens through the overnight last night. -6.5 at Aviemore, as you can see, -6.8 at Altnahara. The temperature the previous night was -7.7 up at Altnahara, and indeed we did have below freezing conditions all the way down to the south coast during the overnight period. A little bit less cold along the Lincolnshire Yorkshire border here, and the reason why is we had a little bit more of an onshore flow with that area of high pressure centred over Scotland. We had some of these winds reasonably brisk coming in off the North Sea, and of course at this time of the year the North Sea has dropped a good few degrees off what it was back 6 months or so ago. We start to approach the coldest time of the year within our surrounding waters actually once we get into the month of March, and that does have an impact, especially on the kind of the wind chill value and whatnot with this current setup here. Did anybody see the Aurora borealis last night? An absolutely incredible display of northern lights. There is quite a significant solar activity at the moment going on, and we do have an increased chance again this evening. This is a tweet by the Met Office indicating that northern Scotland has a very high chance of seeing the aurora once again tonight. Certainly Shetland, Orkney, and the far north has a 90 or so percent chance of seeing the lights once again this evening if it's clear. And we do have lengthy clear spells expected in the northwest, and I think the further south you go, the less chance you will have of seeing clear skies. But this was the scene in Perth. This is a tweet by Eastern Scotland Weather here. I believe this is his parents' house in Perth. So just an absolutely spectacular display of northern lights across a wide area. I think there was even captures of the northern lights as far south as Suffolk last night. So pretty impressive, and I did actually see it myself, but with my phone it just wasn't picking up the incredible display. We did see a bit of a kind of green, uh, hue in the sky last night. It wasn't overly clear, but I do know that my fiance Lindsay's son went out on the Dornoch golf course late last night, and some of the reddy colours and the greens were just outstanding. I think when you can get away from light pollution, the display was very, very vivid indeed. And I think this was probably one of the best displays in quite a number of years. And many people that have never seen the Northern Lights did have that chance last night to see them. So pretty impressive stuff, and hopefully we'll get another opportunity to see them through the course of this evening. But not a great deal of change in terms of the weather at the moment. There is no fundamental signal at this moment in time of any major cold spell at the moment. Now, we are still in the month of February, and I still believe that we do have colder times to come here. That area of high pressure that's centered directly overhead at the moment is really not budging any time through the course of this week. And if we play the latest run of the GFS, you can see that area of high pressure just kind of dancing around, wobbling around, but pretty much bang slap over the northern half of the British Isles. And of course, with that flow around the underside of that high, we've got chillier winds coming in off the North Sea here. But there's just an incredible, relentless area of high pressure. This is, by the way, by the time we reach the weekend, and that's the first flirt with precipitation on the north coast by the time we reach Sunday, March 5th. And then it's as we go towards the early portion of next week, that area of high pressure looks as if it maybe nudges a little bit further north, possibly a little further west, tries to open the door to something colder coming in off the continent. And this is the concern that we have, that this area of high pressure doesn't budge, and therefore it doesn't allow the cold to come in from the east or the north. So we just have to continue to monitor the situation here and be patient. But there is really not a great deal of things to say in today's video, folks, unfortunately. But you do see that we are flirting with some very cold air into the early portion of next week here. And remember, the time frame generally is the end of week 1, end of week 2 of March, I think, is when we should start to see the response of the major southern stratospheric warming that both occurred last week and is actually, we've got a secondary major strat warming now taking place over the next few days here. And we are seeing that wind reversal down through the stratosphere and into the troposphere by the time we reach. So, there's the latest run of the GFS. We've got the bulk of the cold air just to the east of the British Isles here, as you can see here. And we are always never far away from milder conditions trying to come in from the southwest here. So yeah, the modelling does, in fairness, have a hard time sometimes seeing that response from top down, and sometimes it's one of those things that we just have to be patient and wait and see what happens as we go forward here. I know there is plenty of people. I'm reading the comments, and I know there is a lot of people that are just simply writing this off, that it's just not going to come and whatnot. But let's wait and see what happens here. But certainly that is it for today. I'm afraid it is short and rather sweet. There's not a great deal to speak about when you've got high pressure centered overhead. Well, there's not an awful lot of weather to speak about, really. So hopefully you'll get the chance to see the Aurora during the early hours of tonight, and do drop your photographs on my Twitter feed, and I will share them if you get that opportunity. So enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.